There we go, now I can talk. So, cylinder heads are back. Got some new exhaust manifolds, new manifold gaskets, that is there. The studs, I mean, this just goes to show you how ridiculous things can be when it comes to pricing. These studs here were $6 a piece from a local Ford dealer. Didn't have them in stock, nothing. So I really evaluated the condition of these studs closely before I reused them, but they were in such good shape. I decided to go ahead and reuse them, and they work just fine. So reuse the studs here on these because they were in such good condition. The manifolds checked out good. I did heat the studs to go to the converters with my torch here. Actually, I should probably shut that off, shouldn't I? And so I'm going to put some new studs in here because those are readily available. But it took some heating to get those off, and look how pretty those heads are. Really nice and pretty. Just came back from the shop. Also went ahead and spent the extra money while I was at it and had the inserts for the spark plugs put in this thing so we don't spit any spark plugs out on the way to California. But look at that pretty surface. Man, that's just beautiful. The valves are redone, seals, everything is like new on this cylinder head here. It is all set. So we are good to go back together. Here is the manifold over here. And man, I'll tell you what, it just never ceases to amaze me here. You look at the design on this manifold, it's all plastic here, right? So this is another design. This is a new design on this manifold. The old manifold, as you can see, had a brass outlet in the manifold, which ended up eventually cracking. So after that cracked, it started leaking coolant. So I guess they decided, oh, screw it, let's just make the whole thing plastic. So, my goodness. But new thermostat, clean the thermostat outlet there. Reused temperature sensors and put new Teflon tape to keep those from leaking. Put new seals on the injectors. Reinstalled that back on the manifold. Now let's go take a look at the engine. So here's the engine, and that nice blue that you see is the head gasket. I cleaned the surface of the block off, got it nice and pretty. Cleaned all the residue off from the previous RTV sealant to go around the timing cover. And they're looking good. So we're going to put these nice freshly resurfaced cylinder heads back on the engine and bolt everything up. Take it from there. So here are the cylinder heads on the engine again. I got the timing components put in place. All the timing marks lined up, as you can see there. Down here we're all lined up and it's all good. Just to give you an idea of how this looks when you rotate the engine. Kind of neat. You can see the camshafts moving, which open and close the valves. Good stuff. So, it's pretty straightforward from here. Timing cover, intake manifold, valve cover gaskets, top off the coolant, change the oil, get all that coolant out of the oil. Power steering pump and all that's going to be a little bit of a pain, but whatever. It's all right. And then this car will be up and running, fingers crossed. So let's get a little bit more work done, then we'll take another video clip. Starting to look a little more like an engine now. Got a Motorcraft water pump I'm going to install. That way we don't have to worry about that in the future. It's coming along here. I've got the intake manifold to go back on, as well as all the accessory drive belt components and power steering hose down there. The only thing I'm having a hard time finding is an engine oil dipstick tube for this dipstick here. Ford dealers don't have them. Nobody online seems to have them. No auto parts stores have them. So I'm thinking I might just have to make a dipstick tube for an earlier or a later model Grand Marquis work. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's the same engine. It's just a little bit different length. Anyway, other than that, it's going very smoothly. I'm going to put the water pump and the intake on, radiator, fan, and the electric fan. Got a few more things here to go back on. Alternator, throttle body, spark plug, wires and coils. It's come along pretty good. Okay, got a lot done. Looks more like an engine that goes in a car now. There's a couple things I have to do yet. I was using homemade installation tools, which is basically a bolt and a nut and a few washers, and I got the power steering pump pulley just about on all the way, but I'm gonna go get the right tool and finish it up because the little washers are giving way and I just can't get it on the rest of the way. So we got that. Also, the engine oil dipstick tube I'm still trying to find, so that's still out. However, the oil was not drained, so I know there's still oil in there for now. I'm not going to run it very long for a few reasons, because one, I don't have the water pump connected, and two, there's probably a little bit of coolant in the oil, so you don't want to run it too long with coolant in the oil. But I want to at least make sure everything is done right so far, so I'm going to use the air lift to vacuum all the air out of the cooling system, refill it with coolant. And I just got some 5-year, 100,000 mile, 150,000 mile, whatever, generic coolant there. And I'm gonna make sure there's no coolant leaks. Start it up and let it run for a little bit and make sure everything checks out okay. So if there are no cooling leaks, the vacuum gauge will stay, won't move. And it appears to be the case, so I've got the line here running into my jug of coolant. Turn the valve on, suck the coolant out of the jug, and fill up the cooling system. Away we go.